You saw Timpson is an elite athlete, probably the best one we'll see in terms of just a pure athlete all year. So we have to be the more disciplined team. I thought we were very disciplined in our box outs. We out-rebounded them by 1. That's crazy. And then, you know, our physicality, like we were really, really tough, and you got to be tough if you want to win big games.
So I know it's just 1 win, but what could this mean for you guys as a program here?
I mean, I think it's 1 win, you know, but it's also something that it is really big, because I think it sets a tone for the entire year, and I think that it means more after kind of the start we had last year, where we dropped a lot of those close games, and for us to be able to, we talk all the time too about protecting your home court. Your home court is so important. If you can win games at home, you're going to be positioned well for the year. And just the opportunity. How many times, you know, I was really on them about just like having fun in this opportunity. You have a really good team coming, they're ranked, first game of the year, home court, like no regrets. And they were just so locked in, which you would expect from a veteran team. They were locked in, and our prep was great, and they came out and played like I know we're capable of playing. I just hadn't seen it, and we didn't see it against Lewis, I can tell you that much. But I also, that's why I said this game, I think I said it on at the post game. You know, at first I'm like, man, is it stupid to, you know, do this right away? Like I was going back and forth, and then a couple days ago I'm like, no matter what happens, win or lose, this is what this team needs. So I was so glad that I scheduled them in our first game. With the veteran team, that's something I learned. I'm going to do this every year. Now next year, we're not going to do that when we're young, but with the veteran team, because these guys, I told you guys, the great thing about veterans is they're veterans, but I also told you they wanted to play someone, and they wanted to play someone really good. They did not get up to play last Friday night. So now we have to continue to be consistent. Yes, it's a great win, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't come and do what you need to do on Sunday. So we got to understand that.
It kind of piggybacking off of that, of just not maybe sure if this was the right, you know, opportunity or right situation, but maybe just in practice, did that sort of in the build up to this game and what you saw when you talked about prep, just feeling like your team was ready and, you know, for this opportunity?
It was, I know this team very well, for good and bad and everything in between. I know everything and every little thing they do. They were different the last 2 days. This team knows that this was a big opportunity. They knew that this was a really good team. They knew what they had to do, and they prepared like that. So they drive me crazy because, you know, they don't do that some other days. But again, I trust this team, and they were elite in our preparation and our focus, and I'm really proud of that.
I feel like for 2 previous years, you've been just pouring the idea of consistency into Adalia. Like is tonight, kind of what you saw, what you wanted to see.
Yes, and confident. You know, I saw it all summer. I saw it all preseason. She's on another level right now, in terms of how she's playing, how strong. I've said it really all along. I think she can be one of the best defenders in the country, and I told her that our first year. I was on her about being an all Big Ten our first year here. I knew that she had it in her. But the confidence she has right now on the offensive side and defensive side, she has never had this confidence. And again, it really started at the end of last year, and it has carried on. She's so strong, and now being able to finish with contact. They were switching, you know, and she's going up against 6'3". So imagine now when teams are going to show low, that's great. So this was great that Florida State switched too. This was something really, with their athleticism, this is something that's going to help us later on in the year if anyone does that. And we don't see that at times, so it was great.
Coach, you guys had 4 players reach double figures in points. How does that contribute to a big win like you had tonight?
Yeah, I think the balance of our team is the most important thing. You can't key in on one person, and you know, we didn't shoot the 3 well tonight, but again, the free throw line was key. You know, and we knew for them, really, they got their big 3, but really their big 2. They're going to get theirs, but we did a great job really neutralizing and locking up everyone else. So that's hard when you have, you know, you have 5, 18, 8, 20, 20, 11. That's great. That's kind of what our program's always been about, is balanced attack. And it can be someone new every night with us. And this was a game where, you know, some people didn't play as much, but that's not gonna, they're gonna continue to get their opportunities. It just really was matchups, and shoot, how well like a Bryn was playing, it was hard to not have her on the floor.
Coach, you talk about like setting the tone with, you know, having those upperclassmen be able to, I guess, like be hungry from the get-go. How important is that to, I guess, pass down to some of these younger players who are going to be seeing more frequent minutes as they go through the program?
Yeah, this is really, it's great because it's good and bad. You have a big, you know, senior crew that's been here, and then you have a lot of newcomers. So they're learning from really good leaders, and they're learning what it takes and what consistency looks like. And our upperclassmen and our seniors they're conscious of it. They understand that in order to build a program of sustained success in your culture, that you got to learn and pass those things on. So they've been very intentional bringing our younger guys along to really teach them what it means and what Illinois basketball is about. And I think that's awesome that they're like conscious of it and actually really taking the time to say, hey, when we're gone next year, you guys step up. Gretchen, we need you to be more vocal because when we're not here, they're saying that stuff to them. And I think that you're gonna see those younger guys continue to mature in their games, but more importantly, their leadership.
Coach, you shot 2 for 13 from 3 tonight.
Don't
Obviously,
remind me.
obviously early, but is that something you're worried about, or you just keep shooting?
Keep shooting. I'm not worried about it, especially when we get to the free throw line 31 times. I'll take, this is, everything I've been telling these guys is attack, 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 get to the rim. I mean, I'm screaming at them during the play, like, no one can stop you, Dallin. Like, I probably shouldn't say that, but, you know, I'm like, that's my belief in them. So I'm yelling at them to attack, and I want them to do that. And our threes will come. They don't give you a lot of threes either because of their switching all the time. Like our action, and we got one clean look from 2. Jen had that one late, and then Gretchen off of a set had a good look, and they missed them. Our other threes weren't even good threes. Like there was a couple bad shots in there. So we'll look at it and we'll keep analyzing them.
That was really related to my question. A lot of points off the bounce, a lot of points in the paint. Was that something you saw in the scout with their help defense, or was it just kind of flow of the game?
It's who we are, it's what we want, but then it was something that we also knew they changed up. They didn't switch 1 through 5 last year, so we saw that, they changed it, switching 1 through 5 in their first game. So we knew and we were prepared, so we were gonna say, hey, like Timpson's an unbelievable shot blocker, but we really wanted to try to attack her. And then there was times where I changed up where normally our 5 is setting ball screens, we changed up who was screening, so then we could get mismatches. Now our point guard or Dell's going against, maybe not as good of a defender. Every time certain people were on Dell that we knew we could take advantage, I'm yelling at Dell, attack, attack. Same thing with McIver. So we really wanted to try to take advantage of some mismatches that we saw that we thought we could exploit. And I give credit to our kids because they were really locked in and did it.
You talked about veteran leadership, but when you go ahead by 16 in the first half and then they make a run in the second half, how important was it to have experience and players that have been through it to withstand that run?
Yeah, and again, we talk all the time, but especially leading in this game when you have a good team. Like basketball's a game of runs. We knew that they were going to make a run. So I just think that's where I think we showed poise. I think that's where I felt I felt like we were in the WBIT, where I always just felt there was a calmness and poise to us, even when stuff started to get a little chaotic. And that's also something we've been talking about and really working on in practice. And I've been very intentional, the most I've ever been, about trying to create chaos and adversity in practice. There's times I'm intentionally doing that to try to get them to respond, because last year you saw when we responded and you saw when we didn't, and it snowballed. So that's the one thing I'm taking away from this game, was that we had positive responses, and we always made a play when they went on a run. That's big time for this group.
Coach, Kendall played 39 minutes tonight. What's it like knowing you can send her out there for that long and still have her produce like she did tonight?
For a 5-player, I've said it's unheard of. You just don't have a 5-player at this level that can play that long. I mean, there was that 1:30 seconds, I took her out, and then I'm like, at the end, I just took a timeout to give her a break. I mean, we have to have her on there. Obviously, we all know we're, with some injuries, we don't have depth in that position, but what a hell of a job she did against an elite, just elite athlete, great player. I'm so proud of her defense, and I know she made some tough shots, but I thought she did a great job. In her box outs, she was right. I told her, I don't care if you get a rebound. Box Timpson out, and then everyone else will come in and fly in, and I thought she was really good at that.
It seemed like in the first half, I mean, she didn't have a mismatch, but it seemed like in the first half where she just couldn't get stopped. If you threw her the ball in the post, it's 2 points. I mean, it also seemed like you had guards, veteran guards that understood she's really, really cooking. What is that just the veteranness of your team, or did she just have, was she just on a heater at that moment?
Some of that we were calling stuff for, trying to exploit some of that, but our guards made unbelievable passes. Some of those passes that got to her, I was like, oh, don't throw that, and then they threw it and it got. So I think that's their, again, experience playing together. Makaira hit a couple passes. I don't know how they got to her. And then KB was really poised and knew her hook shot was going to be there. And then they did a better job. They didn't switch, and they were more physical and pushed her out in the second half. But she still found a way, to 8 for 10, 18 points. Just overall great game. So I think it's some of just their experience of finding her, and then some of it was intentional with calls.
Kendall said something interesting where teams don't just come in and roll over Illinois anymore. And if you could zoom out a little bit, I'm guessing that mindset didn't happen overnight for you guys. So how did you kind of reframe that mindset? There's a lot of new faces, but even just program-wide.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked being, I was actually kind of glad we weren't ranked, to start the year. Last year we were ranked and outlasted about 24 hours. We got our butts beat. So, I'm good with it. I like being the underdog. I always, anything I can do to fire them up about it, we're going to do that. And, she knows what it was like for when they did come in and it was just a check. It was a win, for the other team. So for them, I'm so happy for them. I can't imagine how good it feels now and how proud they must feel. And that's why listening to those two talk was like, man, this is what it's about, right? They came when the program wasn't doing well and they stayed committed to it. And to see the build up now that, I love for them to have success. It's unbelievable.
And Shay wasn't available tonight. Can you kind of update us on what she's doing with it, if it's a long-term deal?
No, it'll be a couple days and we'll get her back. So it's more day-to-day than, it's not like a Letty where it's, thank the Lord, so.
Coach, the perimeter defense in that first half, I thought you guys were just really connected. What, in your opinion, what do you think that led to that connectivity tonight?
I love that you say that because that's what I've been all my pregame, all my last 2 days, all of my last couple months. So you just saying that, thank you, because everything's been about being connected. Like when we're connected in that connectivity on defense, we're all on a string, we're all moving together, we're all on the same page. That's what you can get. You can hold a Florida State to 10 points in a quarter. Now my job is to try to get them to do that for 40 minutes, right? And you're not going to hold a team like that to 10 points, but it's all we've been talking about. It's all we've been preaching. It's all we work on. It's our defense. That's when our defense thrives, is when we're connected, making walls, keeping the ball in front, tough twos, and then contested shots, and then we're in a position to rebound and get out and run.
Coach, I'm curious if you run plays for Gretchen Dolan, it seems like such a natural scorer. I know she can get her own, but do you dial up some stuff for her?
Yeah, we did, and she did a great job too, attacking the switches. She was relentless and really, because they slide on the switch. When teams switch, they're trying to take away all our downhill stuff. Like usually it's, because we're running so much action to try to get brushes and pin downs and to get them going downhill. Well, when teams switch, that really should eliminate it. But in Florida State did a really good job of sliding But then our kids did a really good job of just being relentless and keeping turning and hitting their hips and going. And I thought Gretchen, she blew that layup. But there was that one time, I mean, it was great. She just kept turning, kept trying to turn, and then beat her. So Gretchen can score at all 3 levels. You guys have seen what she's capable of doing. I mean, she had 11 tonight. Her 3 wasn't going, but I'm fine with that. She was 1 for 4. She's just a great scorer in multiple ways. Thank you.